World War II is over. Through the destruction and chaos, Americans, the British, French, and Russians rejoiced, for the war was won. Germany was divided between Allied powers, and as hope rose among citizens of Germany for a new era, Germany fell back into political crisis. The Berlin Wall was built in August of 1961 by the Soviet Union and divided communism in the East and democracy in the West. The initial 27-mile barrier represented the political, economical, and social division in Germany and led to the defection of over 5,000 people. On November 9, 1989, Germany was reunited when the citizens of Berlin dismantled the wall, an enduring symbol of the Cold War.
Welcome to a documentary on the Berlin Wall, a divide between communism and democracy. World War II finally came to an end, and the Allied powers had the responsibility to separate Germany into territories. In June of 1949, Germany split into 4 sectors.
England, France, and the United States accommodated the West while the Soviet Union took over the East. The country's capital, Berlin, separated between the sides.
Born on April 15, 1894, Nikita Khrushchev was a Soviet statesman.
Though he was not the brightest due to his lack of education, he was quick on his feet and had great social skills. These characteristics made Nikita an excellent and capable leader of the Soviet Union.
As a member of the Communist Party, Nikita described West Berlin as stuck like a bone in the Soviets' throat. West Berlin's opposing political view prevented the Soviet Union from expanding communism. In 1948, the Soviet Union began a blockade against West Berlin. They would run West Berlin dry of resources in hope of causing Western allies to flee the city. Instead of retreating, however, the United States and its allies supplied their sectors of the city from the air. Trademarked as Berlin Airlift, the Allies supplies West Berlin with over 2.3 million tons of food, fuel, and other goods for over a year. The blockade ended in 1949.
This would start a 45-year conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union.
As tensions grew between former allies, Germans of East Berlin began to flee. Over 50,000 people fled from East Berlin to West Berlin in a matter of 3 months.
Khrushchev, on August 12, 1961, closed the border between the separated capital. In the course of 2 weeks, the Soviet Union would slowly begin to construct a wall between the two cities. Little did anyone know that this wall would create a great conflict and anger all the way until 1989.
My grandparents and parents, they always remind me of the Berlin Wall and the impact it had.
John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, stated, "A wall's a hell of a lot better than a war." Though he was not content with the wall, JFK, much like other countries and allies, would do anything to avoid war against the Soviets.
The wall was reinforced 3 times. With every modification, it became larger and more daunting to German citizens. By the end of the era, the blockade was a whopping 12 feet tall. Metal piping wrapped along the top of the barrier, preventing any attempt of escaping. With nearly 300 watchtowers, 79 miles of fencing, more than 250 watchdogs, 20 bunkers, and 65 miles of anti-vehicle trenches, it was coined as the Death Strip.
So my family, they lived among opposite sides of the wall, and they were separated until it was dismantled in 1989. Hopeful for a new beginning, but our hope was crushed by the Berlin Wall.
A recorded amount of 171 people died trying to abscond the wrath of the Soviets. On August 17, 1962, 2 men attempted to escape East Berlin. However, only one survived. The second man was shot and killed by communist guards. West Germans watched the man helplessly lay on the ground for an hour, slowly dying, until finally the East Guards carried his body away.
Nevertheless, the high risks did not intimidate the Germans, for more than 5,000 people successfully crossed the barrier. The citizens of East Germany were extremely adamant to cross the border and gain freedom. They created very innovative ways to reach West Germany. Horst Klein made a very dangerous and risky escape by threatening his own life and walking on a tightrope over the wall.
In March of 1983, Michael Becker and Holger Beth shot an arrow to West Berlin and ziplined across the quarter-inch cable to freedom.
On June 12, 1887, Reagan challenged the Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev to destroy the Berlin Wall.
Many believe that Reagan's empowering speech led to the communist change in city relation. Starting at midnight of November 9th, 1989, citizens were allowed to cross freely among the borders.
Thousands of Berliners surrounded the wall with hammers and picks. Cranes and bulldozers knocked down section by section till only the rubble of cement was left. The reunification of East and West was made official on October 3, 1990. However, through all of the unfortunate events Germany has been through, the country has only grew stronger and more mighty, learning from each mistake and taking it as a lesson. Germany is powerful. Germany is united.
Deutschland ist stark.